What's up, guys? Welcome back to Diesel Creek. If this is your first time joining us, my name's Matt. Behind me, a beautiful old hay barn that unfortunately is no longer structurally sound, and it's got to come down. Now, I have a soft place in my heart for barns. Nothing irks me more than seeing somebody just rip down a beautiful old hay barn that somebody put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into building, and they just rip it down for no good reason. This one, unfortunately, has a good reason. The foundation is completely pooched on it, and therefore I have been contracted to take this thing down. Now, it may no longer be good, but there are a lot of good pieces left to it. And I'll be completely honest, when I first showed up here and looked at this barn, I said, I don't want to take this thing down. It's really nice, and we should save it. And then again, I looked at the foundation a little more thoroughly and decided, ooh, you can even see that wall over there is fractured and separated. It's not worth saving. I'm not gonna say it's impossible to save, but it would cost far more than it is worth to save this barn. Even just standing here right now, I'm hearing some little bit of creaks and groans, and I'm kind of worried about it. A good strong breeze could take this thing down, and I'll take you in the basement here in a few minutes and show you why. Before we go downstairs and look at that though, I know everybody's going to be screaming at me, save the wood, save the wood. And I am going to save what I can economically. I cannot sit here and pull every nail and save every board. This building has to come down. I don't have time to sit there and pick at every little piece. And this is not one of those super awesome like hand-hewn beams. You know, this was not cut with an axe. This is all just rough cut lumber that was put up. I'm gonna guess this barn's probably like 60 or 80 years old. And it wasn't built in the traditional method either, with all timber framing. This wall's all the way up to that point right there. That's terracotta block from there all the way to the ground. And I'm guessing that that's over 20 feet, maybe 25 feet from there to the ground. It's a very tall terracotta structure. If you know about terracotta, it's not exceptionally strong, and that is why we're in the predicament we're in here. So as you can see, the barn is a bit grown up here. Hasn't seen a lot of love in the last 20 years probably. The metal roof on it is worth attempting to save, but I'm not getting up on there to try and unbolt the sheets. Just gonna knock it down, and what I can manage to salvage at that point is so much the better. But the barn is a little too sketchy for me to get up on there with a ladder, and it's not worth renting a man lift to do it. Next to the barn here, we also have what I'm gonna guess is a 40-foot silo. Looks like the top's gone off of it, and it's pretty well snarled and thick vinage. That is gonna be a little sketchy to take down. Got some cool old stuff here the owners have been pulling out of the basement of this barn. Stuff that they're gonna save on. I'm happy to see that. Those old watering cups, those are neat. Another look at the silo from the low side. There's a good shot of the deterioration of this wall and the foundation. It's not good. There's still power on in here. We're gonna have to disconnect that. Still a ton of stuff in here to get out. Stuff that I myself can't see gone to waste. A bunch of good T-posts over there. I'm sure they're gonna want those though. Some crowbars hanging there. Got a couple double trees back there for plowing with mules or horses. Still a ton more old hand tools here. A lot of neat stuff you don't see every day anymore. Here's a good illustration of the damage. If you can see, this is the center beam that runs the length of the barn. It is probably bowed out in the center a good foot and a half. It's not good. This thing is curved 10 ways to Sunday. The walls are all leaning down the hill, which is that direction. Like I said, I'm kind of sketched out even being in here. You can see the corners all falling apart there. The front wall here, which is the deepest part in the ground, it's leaning probably over a foot. Not much left to the foundation of this building. It's amazing that it's still upright right now. Which is why I'm not going to hang around in here, and I'm going to get out of here. So here we are actually on the low side of the barn. It's hard to even tell what you're looking at here, I know. But if you take a peek in through the bushes here, you can see that whole row of terracotta there is blown out, and that runs from one end of the building to the other. It's completely fractured. I don't understand what's holding it. There's nothing in there doing anything. This building is completely supported by hopes and dreams at this point. In the interest of being completely transparent, I also underestimated how much stuff was in this barn when I first looked at it. I did not pay that close of attention. I just said, yeah, there's some junk. Probably scrap most of it, and that'll be that. A bunch of junk hay over there. It's been sitting in here over 20 years. It's really only good for mulch at this point, and I don't have a place to store it, so that's pretty much garbage. The more I look around in here, though, the more I'm finding myself going, ooh, can't get rid of that. Ooh, I can't get rid of that. Ooh. So I found some garage doors up here, if you can see those. I don't know, I didn't measure them yet, but I think they're probably 20-25 feet wide, something like that. So definitely not get rid of those. Those will be really nice to have for something. Antique stuff in here, like the hay trolley that's up in the rafters still. That's really neat. But these trolley systems are worth a couple bucks, and I think they're pretty neat. They don't really see any use in today's farming world, but they are just a neat part of history. That thing looks pretty cool, doesn't it? I've seen people make chandeliers out of those and everything else, so we're definitely going to save on that thing. So definitely going to save on the garage doors. I'm sure that aluminum extension ladder the landowners are going to want. I believe the elevator is going to go for scrap if I can't find anybody to come get it. It's kind of a hard thing to move. There's big heavy steel plates on the floor. Those are definitely coming with me. Pretty excited for those. Part of a really cool spiral staircase laying here. That's definitely coming with me. Bonus points to anybody that knows what this old farming implement is. I don't know myself. It's got a little double tree on it there, and then I've got a long pull rod up here. It comes to a point and has a hole in the end of it. And there's two of them in here, and I do not know what they are. A bit of a better, different look at it. Obviously used for pulling something, I imagine. Can't tell for certain. So first things first on this project, before I even start yanking anything out of this barn to try and save it, I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit so I can even see what I'm doing here, kind of see the state of things, so I can keep a closer eye on the building as I'm working in and around it. I don't really want it to fall on my head. Well, this guy's saying he wants to try to save on this elevator now. I don't know what he's going to do with it, but that's none of my business. So he said he was going to get it out of here tonight. I'd rather get it out of my way now. I'm going to hook to it, drag it out of here. I think I could probably do it easier than he can because he doesn't have any equipment. Well, there we go. We got the whole front of this thing cleaned off now. Really does a lot of that does a lot to show you how big this thing really is. It doesn't look that big until you peel away all the brush. It's a pretty big barn. I haven't measured it. I'm gonna guess that it's like 40 by 60. Pretty good size. Well, now with the back sort of uncovered, you might be able to see this whole wall bulged out in the middle. It's definitely worse on this end than the other end. Still kind of coming up with a game plan of how I'm going to push this over. It's not like a house where you can just kind of push it down from the top. I don't have nearly a big enough machine for that. But we'll get her down. Getting one last little look around in here, assessing the situation. Can you guys see how lean and everything is? Pretty sketchy. Well, I know in the last video when I was working on the 977, I said I was going to tear the barn down with the 977. But after I'm down here, get this barn exposed and everything, see how big of a building it really is with the foliage off of it, I'm feeling a little iffy about knocking it down with the 977. I think I'm actually going to take it down with the excavator because I have a lot better control and finesse versus the old Hoggin tractor over there. She's just more of a brute pusher. Plus the 977 doesn't have a ROPS on it or anything, a canopy, so if the building, God forbid, was to come back at me, I'm gonna get slaughtered. So I think I'm gonna use the old dirty hoe here, and I think my plan of attack is gonna be I'm gonna pick at the corners and see what happens. You see the whole building is leaning that way, so if I was to pull at the corners, or this whole front wall really, if I was to pull it towards me, there's a chance I can make it kind of come back and then sit down and collapse kind of on itself. The other option is just to push from this side, and the framework in the upper half of here I think is plenty strong enough that it would go that way. The problem with that, it's not a huge problem, but there is an old fence down here that I'm trying to save for these people. And if it goes for a ride, sometimes these buildings kind of just keep sliding when they fall. It's going to wipe out that fence and land in their garden. So I'm going to try to avoid that. But I believe it's the moment of truth here. You guys better have caught that. I've been searching for an hour trying to find the magical Jenga piece that'd bring down this house. I don't even know what I just did. But it's down. How about that? Alrighty then. As you may or may not have noticed, that did not exactly go as planned. That thing fought me a lot harder to get it down than I would have ever imagined. So originally I wanted to salvage a lot of the materials because I thought this thing was just going to flop over nice and that I'd be able to like kind of work on the roof as a freestanding structure but on the ground. And I was going to strip all the tin, or what I could easily, but actually after looking at the tin, it was mostly nailed with some screws, and those nails are quite a bear to get out, and what you end up doing is denting the tin all to hell trying to pull the nails out. So the excavator, she pulls the nails out real quick, and this is all just going to get wadded up and sent to the scrap pile. It's hard to use it for anything but like siding on a building anyways, because it's got all the extra holes in it and stuff, and you know the holes never line up with what you're going to put it on again. So there's a few more pieces of tin here I have to pull out, but I got it pretty well sorted, and the plan right now is we're gonna just kind of tidy up all the edges. I'm gonna fire up that 977 over there. It's been itching to do some work, and I'm gonna push that lower side up here as much as possible, and then I'm gonna salvage some boards out of here, you know, probably enough to build a table or something. It is some nice wood, and I got a couple other people that are gonna come steal some boards out of here. But overall, it's really, you know, I just don't have the time to sit here and nitpick, nor the place to store it if I did. So it's a shame, but it's gonna go up in a flame. Anyways, we're gonna burn it all right here in this pit, and you know, I'll come in after a day or two with the excavator, fluff it all up, get it burning. Whatever didn't burn, we'll get it burning again. Make sure we're gonna make sure we have a complete good burn here, so we are not burying any wood. And then what I'll end up doing, then I'll knock down the silo, and we'll fill in the entire basement here with rubble, debris, and then we'll use the dirt all through here and just flop it over and cover all that up. Look at all the farm dogs in tow here. It has been over a week. I've been waiting on some rain, and it finally just let loose a couple minutes ago. Got the ground at least dampened, so I'm not afraid to burn this thing now. It's gonna be a pretty good sized fire, I do believe. I really, like I've said 100 times, I hate to burn this, but I don't have anybody that wants to come get it. I have asked around. I'm sure a million of you are gonna say, oh, I'd come get it, but realistically, it never happens. And I don't have time to mess with it. I need to get this cleaned up and get this job in the books. So up in flames it goes. Once it's burned down, I'm gonna sort through it with the machine again, pulling out any metal that's left over, throw that up in my metal pile there, and then we'll haul that into the scrapyard. And then we'll knock the silo in, flop it all in the ditch, and cap this thing out with some dirt. Hey puppers! Puppers! This guy kind of reminds me of Roscoe. Hey, yeah. Can I pet you? You're gonna bite me. It's okay. That's all right. She let me pet her the other day, but she's skeptical of me, to say the least. There's what the top side looks like here before I light it. Yep, bombs away. As soon as we get some of that wood burning, that smoke should all clear up, I'm hoping. All right, not too bad for a day's work, huh? That boiled down pretty good. This was crazy. This pile has nothing but metal in it, and it's burned for several hours now. I think there's some coatings on some of the metal that was burning off, but it was pretty wild. Yeah, I got most everything gone. There's still some debris over here that's got a lot of dirt mixed into it. I'm sure that that's gonna smolder for a couple days here. But yeah, we're gonna come back, knock the silo in here, crunch it all up with the old 977, shove it all in here tight and bury it. Well guys, I don't usually like to split up videos of jobs like this, but I did this one for a couple of reasons. It was just a really big job, so there's a ton of footage, and I didn't want to pile it together and make an hour-long video because my computer doesn't like that, my internet doesn't like that, and my analytics show that you guys don't watch it all anyways. So I'm hoping to get the second half of this video all edited and released tomorrow. It'd be the first ever Diesel Creek back-to-back feature. So fingers crossed I can make that all happen in time to be 2 days in a row. If not, it'll be coming shortly thereafter. As always guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. Please make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss this second half. If you turn on the little bell notification, you'll actually get notifications when I upload. Apologize to all you dedicated followers for the delay in content. I've been super busy trying to get this project done as well as a few others. I got some cool stuff coming up on the grader project, so that's something to look forward to. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.